effect. The first principle is that the boom and busts of households and firms involve chain reactions. And therefore, the term the multiplier effect was coined by Keynes, and he coined this term in order to discover how the change in initial spending would create extra income and also induce more spending. I'm going to go through the terms that you need to know for the multiplier effect. You have the MPS and the MPC. The MPS is the marginal propensity to save, and it's a rate at which people tend to save from every dollar they receive. And on the other hand, you have MPC, which is the marginal propensity to consume, and this is the rate at which people tend to consume from every dollar they receive. And lastly, when you add the MPC and the MPS together, they must always equal 1. So over here I have an example question. If the MPC is 0.8, how much is the MPS? And what does this mean? So if the MPC, marginal propensity to consume, is 0.8, that means for every dollar you receive, you spend 80 cents. And therefore, your MPS is 0.2. So that means that for every dollar you receive, you save 20 cents.
Alright, so now that we understand the MPC and the MPS, we can look at a few examples to further understand those. So the first one is to understand how the GDP is growing. So to find this, what you do is you take, if the MPC is 0.9 and your budget is 10 billion, you take 90% of that 10 billion and then you'll be left with 9 billion. And then you take 90% of that and you're left with 8.1 billion. And that goes on until you reach 0. And that shows you how your GDP continues to grow. So next we have an equation to understand the Keynesian government spending multiplier. So this one's pretty simple. All you do is you take 1, divide by the MPS, and that's about it. So for the last part of this, we have how to understand the MPC. So you need to understand the correlation between consumer spending, disposable income, and MPC. So essentially, if consumer spending increases or decreases, it affects the MPC. Because if consumers spend more, it's more likely to go towards that. And then the disposable income, same thing pretty much. So they have an equation that can calculate the MPC using those two. And that is the change in consumer spending divided by change in disposable income equals the MPC.